What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to Cats or Chaps, where we talk all things home, to interior design, and everything in between. So now we want to dive into the different dimensions that you really have to take care of before you dive into your next bathroom remodel. So be careful about this and please pay attention. You want to take note of these dimensions before you start the renovation, not after, because if it's after, then sometimes it might be too late. And you might be wondering which dimensions these are. Think about the space that you want to allow in between cabinets. You want to think about how high a vanity should be. So without much further ado, let's get right into it. The goal of this is to really make sure that the floor plan you're going to create is going to be something that's not only comfortable but also efficient, because there's nothing worse like having a space that isn't properly designed and then not being able to fix it later. So this is the reason why this is very important. And remember this, the bathrooms are almost the second most used space in a home, the first one being the kitchen. And because it's the second most used space in the home, it really has to be as efficient as possible, because this makes sure that it's a pleasure to be in. You don't want the drawers or the cabinets to be frustrating to open, but rather you want it to be the opposite. As mentioned earlier, you also want your vanity height to be functional, but this can also trickle down to things like where your towel hooks will be, or if you have towel hooks, or you'll have towel bars, where you'll put your toilet paper holders. These are all very important things that you definitely have to keep in mind. I have to agree that these dimensions are not widely known. This is why it's important to do the proper research before, or work with a professional, because renovations take a lot of money. They really cost time as well. So you don't want to regret after you're done with it, but you want to get ready before you start. Okay, so let's look at this in a systematic way. So you're going to get into the bathroom through the door, right? So what's the correct width of a door? The correct width is 28 to 32 inches. And I know if you're not from the US, you probably use different metric system, and this is also down below. And these doors should be able to open fully without any obstruction. And so you don't want the door to bump into something, to bump into the toilet seat, because that will really be something not desired. If your doors happen to be bumping against something, the best alternative would be to use pocket doors, because pocket doors, instead of swinging, slide. And honestly, in tight bathrooms, this is such a beautiful solution, and usually it works best even if you have space for a swing door. It's also nice to have a pocket door. Now that you're in the bathroom, let's take a look at the vanity. What height should the vanity be, and where should your countertops be on? The average recommended height is from 32 to 36 inches. This makes sure that the vanity is comfortable either for taller users or for shorter users. Plus, if you're going to resell your house, you actually want to have a height which is accommodative for everyone, because not everyone is going to be as tall, or not everyone is going to be as short. In some cases, some bathroom designers tend to want to bring down the vanity countertops a bit lower in children's bathrooms, but I recommend just sticking to the traditional one, because later when your kids aren't children anymore and they're adults, then it would be important for them to have comfortable vanities. In as much as they won't be able to reach the vanity countertop, you can always implement easy solutions like having a small little stool, or thinking about something that's more functional for you and for your home and for your children, but maintaining that vanity countertop. Now, a personal preference is to stick around 34 and 35 inches, because this is a sweet spot right in between the maximum and the minimum, because the minimum, which is 32 inches, can tend to be too low, and the maximum 36 inches can tend to be a bit too high for some users. So the sweet spot is always in the middle, around 34 and 35 inches. So now that we have nailed the vanity height, let's think about the vanity depth. How deep should it be? You know, you want to be able to place some things comfortably on the vanity. So you don't want it to be too shallow, nor do you want it to be too deep. but you just want it to be the right size. And I usually recommend 21 inches. What is the front clearance that I recommend? This is anything between 28 to 36 inches so that you can circle around the vanity without bumping into anything or without cramping the space too much. Another important reason why this dimension measurement is very important, because you also want to have adequate space that when you open your drawers or when you open your cabinets that are under the vanity, that you can do that comfortably without bumping into something behind it. And something behind it can be the toilet, for example. Wouldn't want to be bumping behind it, would you? Now let's think about a standard double vanity size. So this is when you and your mate share one bathroom, or perhaps you just have two vanities in one bathroom. How much space should be allocated for that? I'll give you time to think about it based on the first measurement that we spoke about with regards to the vanity. And you got it right if you mentioned something between 48 inches to 72 inches. This is comfortable because you allocate enough space on either side of the vanities without overcrowding the room. Now, of course, the sinks are not going to be tied in together, but space is going to be in between them, right? So what space do you think is adequate for it? Well, you've nailed it if you said 32 inches. This is 30 inches between the center of the right-sided sink and the center of the left-sided sink. Keeping these dimensions in mind is very important because having a double sinked vanity is a pure luxury. Because you will most likely be using the sinks together, you really want each person to have adequate space. And honestly, there's nothing like bumping into each other in the morning when you're both preparing for work. And this kind of defeats the purpose of having two sinks, right? You usually opt for two sinks because you want to have that luxury of space. Now let's move on to the throne, the toilet placement. What is the correct placement of the toilet? The distance between the wall to the center of the toilet should be something around 15 inches. And the front clearance should be something around 24 to 30 inches. Of course, if you have more room, the more space, the better. But you also don't want it to feel almost like a cave when it's just, too much space way around. And the ultimate luxury in a bathroom would be have a designated water closet. This is good because then it allows two people to be in the bathroom at once. One can have their privacy when they're using the toilet and they're logged in, behind the door. And then the other person can perhaps do the makeup, and you have your separate spaces whilst you're in one bathroom nonetheless. Now, let's move on to the shower. The shower is also quite important because this is where, the showering occurs, and you really want a space that's wide enough, but also reasonable enough for whatever size your bathroom is going to be. There is also nothing as disgusting as having the walls of the shower almost cramp you in and you having to wiggle around the walls. So we want to avoid this situation. So here are the dimensions. The minimum shower size is 30 inches by 30 inches if you want to make it a square. The ideal is 36 inches by 48 inches, or of course larger. The bigger the better sometimes. And I am urging all of my clients as well as my viewers to install benches. Why? Because when you want to shave your legs, there's no luxury like just placing your leg above a bench and then shaving without having to go all the way down, or without engaging in some kinds of gymnastics just to shave your legs. And for this, you need the bench. And my recommended height is between 17 to 19 inches. This is above the finished floor, so not right from, the foundation or so to say, but once your bathroom floor is installed, then you want to go above between 17 to 19 inches. And then of course there's the niche that everyone is talking about, and that I think is an absolute necessity in a bathroom, especially to store away that clutter. And the height between the finished floor to the niche should be at least 45 inches minimum, so that users can easily reach for the bottles that they need without any troubles. You don't want to go all the way up, nor do you want to go all the way down, because otherwise that would defeat the whole purpose of having a niche. Just make sure that you do plan your niches way ahead of time. So firstly, you want to consider the tile size that you're going to do and how it's going to look within the niche. And then secondly, you want to think about the bottles that you want to store within the niche. Imagine this. The height of your niche is just like this, and yet you want to store products as big as that. Look at that. That won't make much sense, will it? You definitely want to think of things ahead of time so that you can see how it'll work out. When it comes to tile size, you also want to think about it well, because imagine if your tile length was this and this is the niche length. So there it goes. So this niche will almost need twice the height of your tiles, which works. But on the other hand, if your tile was up to here, then you would have to calculate also how many tiles stacked upon each other would you need in order to make things look beautiful and make sense. You wouldn't want a niche that has a small little tile that's right at the top because it got cut off and because you didn't think all the details through. Now, let's move on to the bathtub. This is something that ladies take very seriously, so ladies, please pay attention. The standard bathtub size is 60 by 30 inches. This is the standard. And if you're going to have a freestanding tub, you want to make sure that you have a clearance space of 60 inches round about the tub so that you can move freely if you come out of the bathtub from the left or from the right or from the front. You really want to be able to navigate around it. And it is quite obvious that drop-in tubs are perfect for smaller spaces, whilst standalone tubs are great when you want to make a statement and you want them to be the center of attention. People will typically have the freestanding bathtub, perhaps in front of a beautiful window and having a nice chandelier dropping above it. And this then really makes a perfect statement. Now, let's talk about the small details like the towel bar or the towel hooks, depending on what you're going to go for. Let's keep this in mind. The towel bar really gives an elegant look and it elevates the bathroom. Why? Because you can fold your towel and then you can hang it over the bar. And it would be even more special embroidered towel with your initials or with your name, and then you can beautifully, hang it on the towel bar. Plus, a towel bar is also great in very humid situations or in very humid environments and where your towel really has to dry. But on the other hand, a towel hook is good if you really have a much more free vibe, if you don't want things to be too formal, and if you're heading perhaps towards this kind of vibe. It can also work with cottage vibe or many other design languages. Now let's go back to the towel bar. How high should it be from the finished floor? If you said something like 42 to 48 inches above the finished floor, then my friend, you got this. So remember what we said the minimum height for the niche is. If you remember, you can see how these are all coordinated because they're in the same range. They're in the same height range that someone would need to reach out for something. Remember, I say that you don't want to go all the way down, nor do you want to go all the way up just to get your towel, do you? So it applies here with the towel bar. How about when it comes to towel hooks? Interestingly enough, you want your towel hook to go a little bit up because you remember you'll be hanging your towel on it. So your towel will drape down. If you hang your towel a little bit lower, it might start to disturb the floor or get dirty, but you want it to be high. And besides, don't worry about it being too high because the towel is draping on it. That being said, what is then the correct height for it? You guessed it right, it's 60 to 70 inches, and this makes all the parameters I've spoken about just right and catered for. How about rob hooks, those that you put behind the doors or somewhere else that suits your liking? Where should those go? How high should they be installed? And just like that, they should coordinate with the towel hooks. So again, I'm talking about 60 to 70 inches above the finished floor. But at the end of the day, do remember that when it comes to towel bars and hooks, the dimensions here are not so strict because these are things that you can easily adjust. So make sure that they're the height that is comfortable with you. And also remember, you can play around with them. You can even be creative. If you want to install 3 hooks, for example, you can have one low, one in the middle, and one a bit high. And because it's a towel hook, the towel would drape, you can easily still. Let's move on to the next, which is the mirror placement. So you want to be able to view yourself well. You don't want, again, to look all the way up, nor all the way down just to see your beautiful face. So it has to be within eye level. But what's the typical eye level that you should install it at? When it comes to the distance above the floor, you want to play around 60 to 65 inches. So from the finished floor right to where the mirror will go. But if you want to measure from the vanity, this will be 5 to 10 inches above the vanity. If you try and do the math, this will make sense. This is of course adjustable because it depends on the size of the mirror, the shape of the mirror, and the vibe that you're going for. Because for example, if you're going for a more regal looking mirror, which has an elevated frame, especially one with an ornament above, you wouldn't install it at the same height as you would with a secular mirror. Why? Because the actual visual point in the rectangle one with an ornament at the top would be different from the one that is circular. So you really have to pay attention to all these details. But keep this in mind. When you go to a museum, you almost always feel that the art is at your eye level. I don't think it's often that you go to a museum and the art is all the way up or all the way down. But normally it's within the viewing height, and that's exactly what you want to aim for when you're installing the mirror. And most importantly, try to coordinate where you install your light, your vanity light, to the mirror, because sometimes you can restrict yourself if you install the lighting on the wrong place and perhaps you end up hanging the mirror a bit too lower than optimal. Or you might buy a mirror that's, circular and wide, but then you can restrict yourself because of the lighting. So if you place the lighting here, but your mirror is as big as this, it also makes no sense. So you really need to play around with the pieces of the puzzle well, so that your design at the end will make sense.